Hey guys, Ernie here and welcome to the Paleo Hiker MD channel. I recently published a video about dry baking some biscuits inside of my Firebox stove baking kit that's designed to go inside of my 12cm billy pot. Looking back, the major issue that I had was the heat source. I used the Trangia spirit burner with the simmer ring. The problem, as I detailed in that particular video, was that the simmer ring would cause the flame to be uneven. It would go up one side or the other or the back side very unevenly. It wouldn't come out of the Trangia evenly, and no matter how I positioned it, it always seemed to mess up. I think this led to some hot spots and it caused a lot of issues in getting consistent heat into my baking kit. So I started a search for an alcohol stove that I thought would work better, and I found it at MiniBull Designs. What I purchased was the Turbo Gnome remote stove. I'll show you guys how that works, and I also bought a simmer ring for the Turbo Gnome, and that's what allows me to use it for dry baking. Stay tuned and I'll show you guys this stove and how it works with my baking kit. Thanks for watching. So like I said, the simmer ring on the Trangia is great, it works very well, but it doesn't deliver even heat. And when I'm trying to put heat on the bottom of this billy pot, I want it to be as even as possible. It started to go up the sides, like I said, and really caused me problems. It burnt up my little reflectives cap. It was a big mess. Like I said, watch that video, you'll learn all about it. It was pretty interesting. So I found this company, MiniBull Designs, and its owner, Tinny, who makes all these particular stoves by hand. I went ahead and purchased two of them. One is a remote stove, and it's the one that I'm using here. It's called the Gnome, the Turbo Gnome in this particular, along with the simmer ring. And this one is equipped with a remote fill cap on the side that I can consistently add fuel to as the bake goes longer. I also bought one called the Nomadic. I'm gonna do a separate video on both those down the road. Just don't worry, I'm gonna show you guys what they're all about. So let me show you guys the setup real quick, how this stove looks, how I set it up inside of my Firebox. This happens to be a Gen 2 5-inch Firebox, and I set it up in a way to put my billy pot on top. So let's check that out. This is the Gnome itself, okay, Turbo Gnome. It's turbo because it has these little holes around here that allows it to be effective at creating a bigger flame. This is the cup that goes along with it, and it just stores just like that, okay? You'll see that each has a hole. This has a hole down here, and this has a hole right down here. You take this tubing, you just kind of screw it in a little bit. You can see on the inside there where it's just in there. And you take this, screw it in just a little bit, and you've got yourself a remote stove, okay? Now there is carbon felt in here, rolled up, acts as a wick. This is the simmer ring, and all it does basically is cover over the top and covers those little ports, okay? See the ports are there. Covers the ports. To start this up, all you do is just add some alcohol. I'm gonna turn off the lights, light it for you guys, and you'll see the flame pattern, and then we'll put on this, and you'll see the flame pattern with the simmer ring on. All right, so there it is lit. It does take a little while to build up some steam, so we're just gonna give it a second. I do wanna point out one of the nice things about this particular stove is you can do this. You can blow it out, which is really nice. Anyway, we'll turn it back on. All right, it's starting to gain quite a bit of steam. It doesn't look like a lot, guys, but I can tell y'all that it is really pretty warm. It's shooting out really well. Now I'm gonna take the simmer ring and watch how much it adjusts the flame down. So it covers up those side ports, and you can see that the flame is no longer shooting out of your picture. It is nice and low, but the key is it is nice and even. It is going straight up, wind protected from the wind, and it creates a really stable flame that works really well. Now, we did this before, but we're just going to put these sticks across here, and that is gonna give us the support that we need to put our billy pot up here. What we're gonna be baking is pretty simple. This is just a blueberry muffin mix. It's just add water. I think pretty much anything that you can get that just add water is gonna work really well. I already got that and mixed it in with the water. You can see that I let it sit. I do suggest you let this sit for just a little bit. It kind of builds up the gluten a little bit. I already showed in a prior video the cooking kit that goes along with this billy pot. I bought it from Firebox, so the same people that make this stove over here, okay? This just slides in like that. This is the baking dish, okay? It's gonna slide in just like that. And we're gonna make more of a cake style. This has already been sprayed with coconut oil spray. This is gonna be pretty thin, okay? So it shouldn't take as long as it says it takes. Instructions say 16 to 21 minutes. I think we're probably gonna be right on that because it does cook a little bit slower in this setup. All right, we're gonna fill this up. When you're filling this up, you do not want to fill it up too high, okay? I did that once and we got a lot of overfill. Then you can fill this up just a little bit and you can already see it moving over, okay? I'm gonna add a little bit more over here. It'll get going. With that simmer ring, it really makes a nice, calm, low flame, and that works really, really well. Now, I would suggest that you go ahead and put this on and just let it preheat a little bit, okay? We're gonna put it right on there. You wanna let it preheat for maybe like 2 or 3 minutes. Just put some heat in it before you put your batter in there, okay? So let's let this go for 2 or 3 minutes. It has been going for just a little while. I'm going to go ahead and add some more alcohol to this chamber because it's already used it all up. It should move right across perfectly. Now, when you're using this, you just grab it and you slide this over, pop this up, okay, and this slides right off. It's nice and warm in there. It's not hot, but it is nice and warm. I do suggest that you put this in there, okay, because it does, I think, help it from scorching the bottom too much. Put this in. You want to just put it in the bottom here. It's a lot easier. Then it'll just slide right over just like that. And we've got everything in there just the way we want it. I'm gonna put this for 20 minutes and then we're gonna check it. We'll take a quick peek here, guys. It's been about, I'd say 15 minutes, okay? Now, 2 things that I forgot to mention. First of all, I did put my little cap on here, okay, you guys? It is warm, 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 so it is working. If you're interested in this, I'll leave a link down below to the original video where I discussed how I made this and why. Also, in that original video, I also recommended flipping the pot over every 10 minutes or so to distribute the heat from the bottom up to the top. I haven't done that. It's much easier and you don't have to worry about it, so can that idea, not a good idea. Let's take a quick peek. Here we go. Still raw on top, but that's all right. We are getting there, guys. I'd say we definitely at least have another probably 15, 20 minutes. I like to cook it until the top is firm and then I'll shut it off and then I'll let the alcohol wear off. And at that point, just let it sit for about 10 minutes and it finishes up. So let's let this go another 15 minutes and we'll check it. It's been about another 10 minutes and let's check it. It's been right at about 22 minutes, okay? And you won't be able to see it, but there's a little bit of smoke, just smoke coming out the side, and that's really steam. So let me open this up for you guys. There we go. And you can see right there, it's already looking a lot better. Let me pull it out for you so you can see. There you go. It's almost done. You can see it's starting to brown up around the edges. I'm gonna let this go for about another 2 or 3 minutes, and then I'm gonna put it off the fire and let it cook in the heat for about, I don't know, probably another 5 minutes. And that should finish it up. All right, so it's been 2 minutes. I'm gonna pull this off. I'm gonna set it to the side and just let it cool. All right, I put it back up here. It's been about 5 minutes. I put it back on the stove just because it's easier to hold it there, and the fire on the little stove is out. So plenty of steam coming out, as you can see. Okay, let's pull it out. Completely done. Okay, feels completely done. Let's turn it out. I'll show you guys. It's completely gonna come out of here in one piece. Now don't try this at home. I'm a professional. Pops right out. No stick at all. You can see just a little bit of residual on the bottom. There we go. A nice, huge blueberry muffin. Not burned at all on the sides, as you can see. Absolutely perfect. Could it be a little bit more charred and burned and nice on top? Of course it could, but that's part of the problems with dry baking, is getting a nice golden sheen on top. But this is an easy, nice way to cook this muffin mix. Just for y'all to see that it is cooked all the way, I'm just gonna cut it right in the middle here. There you go, completely cooked. Very, very nice blueberry muffin. So there you go, guys. We took a blueberry muffin mix, we put it into our baking kit, a little bit bigger sheet pan type situation, and we made a perfectly good blueberry muffin cake, basically. This is awesome for the trail. I'm using it here in my house just to show you guys that you can do it from the standpoint of off-grid cooking, emergency preparedness, whatever it might be. This setup works really, really well. I'm planning on trying to make some cornbread with it next, see if that works. I also would like to see if I can bake some bread. Now I think that's gonna be a lot more difficult because I'm not sure if I'm gonna get enough uniform convection type heat to cook a loaf of bread. We'll see down the road. Personally, I think this exploration into dry baking worked way better than the first video for the main reason that I used a different stove. I don't think the transient is designed for this kind of application, and the simmer ring just doesn't create enough even heat for it to be useful. I will tell you that these stoves, to me so far, don't seem as hot, but in this particular case, that's perfect. That's exactly what I was looking for. Consistent, even, low heat. That is what I'm getting out of this Turbo Gnome with the simmer ring. One quick tip that I will tell you, do not fill up the reservoir too far. If you have the reservoir up a little bit higher, the way it's designed to be, than the stove itself so that it kind of goes downhill. If you put too much in, it will flood that gnome and it will start to overflow and you got big issues. I had a little flame fireball action a couple days ago when I first tried this out. No bueno. It was never out of control because of course it's just alcohol. I'm here in the kitchen where it's safe. And of course, I do have a fire extinguisher. Don't be silly guys, always have a fire extinguisher. But I'm starting to get the hang of this stove and I really, really like it. Really pleased with how it's working out. Like I said, it seems to me that Tinny makes these all by hand, by himself, and they got all kinds of stoves. And in fact, I'm gonna order another stove from them soon. I'll let you know how it turns out. With the remote nature of this stove, and the reason that I wanted it, is I think I can add more and more fuel over time to continue a slow, steady burn. This opens up a lot of possibilities other than dry baking. I think I could dry roast, I could roast a piece of meat, I could roast some chicken, whatever it might be, and we're gonna explore those things over time here on the channel. I like the idea of dry baking, and I like the idea of cooking or baking with an alcohol stove because it's so useful in an off-grid situation. Propane stoves are great, but they're not the best to use indoors, and they're always extremely loud. A lot of times kids get a little nervous about them because they make a lot of noise and they produce a lot of heat. Something like this you can leave going in the house, no big deal. Slowly just cooks what you're trying to cook. All you have to do is babysit the little cup here, make sure there's enough alcohol in there, you're good to go. Of course, you can take this out on the trail as well. I love being out on the trail and having options as far as cooking on the trail, off the grid, whatever it might be. You can bake with this. I am pretty excited about this new setup. I knew when I published that first video that I was onto something and I thought I could use an alcohol stove to cook off the grid. I just had to find the right alcohol stove. And I think I found it with this Turbo Gnome from MiniBull Design. Make sure you pick up that simmer ring, works perfect. Do me a favor guys, if you like this video, make sure you hit the thumbs up down below. It really, really helps the channel, helps spread this video across YouTube, and that's what we're trying to do. That's the way that our channels grow. If you like the content as well, make sure you hit the subscribe button so you won't miss any videos in the future. And if you're feeling a little crazy tonight and you really want to make sure that you don't miss my next video, hit the little ding dong bell and you'll be the first to know. If you have any other ideas for dry baking tests, make sure you let me know down in the comments below. I'm always looking for new video ideas. Love making these videos for you guys. Stay tuned for more videos soon here on Paleo Hiker MD.